Hey y'all, welcome back to the Free Black Women's Library YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Please do me a favor and thumbs up this video. Thank you. And while you're at it, subscribe. I'm trying to see if I can get to 1,000 subscribers. So if you want to help me out, if you want to help me reach that random milestone, just click that red rectangle that says subscribe, and yeah, that would really help me out so much and just like make my day and make me want to do a happy dance. So I would appreciate y'all. I like happy dancing. But anywho, let's get into this video. Today we're talking about episode 3 of the new series that is currently airing on Starz Network. It's called Run the World, and it's about 4 black women in their 30s living their best lives in Harlem. Yeah, so as I said in my last video, it's getting more and more apparent that this is kind of like a show that's meant to be like lighthearted. It's not going to get that deep. It's not going to have too many triggers. At least so far, it's feeling very like pretty, sexy, fun, cool, just showcasing black womanhood in a way that's really different, right? And how bad is it that I am somewhat conditioned to the fact that when you're telling a black woman's story, there's supposed to be some type of pain or trauma involved? Like, that is kind of making me self-reflect a little bit because, you know, I keep waiting for something bad to happen, and like, you know, things aren't really that sad. Like, we're going through some heartbreak, we're going through some like couple beef, but that's pretty much it. Like, we're not dealing with outright misogynoir. We're not dealing with outright racism. And I'm just like, is this really happening? Is this what this show is going to be like? They're not even talking about COVID. Like, we're not seeing people in masks. So it's giving me like alternate universe type vibes. And I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that. And if they do decide to go there later on, I'll be okay with that too. I'm just really into what's happening right now because it's a little bit fascinating in how like easy breezy beautiful black cover girl it is. But anyway, the name of this episode is What a Coinky Dick. Yeah, what a coinky dick. Which is funny and also understandable considering what happened. So it starts out, we see our boys, right? Starts out, first scene, starting with these men. Ola, the fiance, my namesake, and Jason, who is Renee's soon-to-be ex-husband. They're at the bar. It looks like a sports bar. They're watching a game, and they're talking about the use of the N-word. It's a very kind of like commonplace conversation with black people, using the word, who gets to use it, who doesn't. So it's sounding familiar, especially when you have these races that, well, ethnicities that can be black or white. They're talking about Dominicans, so hopefully that doesn't offend anyone. But anyway, moving on to Anderson walking in. Anderson, who we also call Satan, he's like Erica's big, supposedly, walks in, and it's like, oh, okay, so the 3 of them are all friends. And my first question, because I'm Aquarius and obsessed with details, is like, did they meet through the girls, or did they already know each other? Like, how did these 3 become so kind of like cool with each other? Maybe we'll find out. But it turns out that Jason is definitely on board with the whole divorce thing, which was my question for last week's episode. Because it seemed like they were working on their relationship. So my question now is, if they are both interested in divorcing each other, why are they still having sex, and why are they still having these long drawn out Malcolm and Marie all day type of arguments? Because if it's over, like, what's the point in all that back and forth? So I'm a little bit confused about that. Maybe they're going to go to counseling and work it out. We shall see. I'm really into predictions. What do y'all think? So anywho, Jason sounding like a bitter Betty, talking about his advanced degrees and his plans, and how, you know, he's a successful man, and he's just like, you know, has a lot of anger. So him and Renee are basically carbon copy versions of each other at this point, because she has that same anger and frustration towards him. This beautiful woman, beautiful bodied woman walks by. We don't see her face at all. Well, we see her face for about 5 seconds. But at this point, all we see is her booty. It's a shot of her booty, and she's got a cat suit on. And it's a cute booty, you know. I wasn't like, whoa, look at that ass. So it's kind of interesting how all the men just kind of looked. I think it was like maybe the way the fabric was hugging it and like the bounce. But I mean, booties are nice. Booties forever. So they all look, all the men stop what they're doing and just look. And we see the community peen. Chris is in the same bar as Ola, Jason, and Anderson. Dun, dun, dun. So, you know, Ola's like, I'm not looking, I'm getting married. And community peen's like, oh, good for you, man. Congratulations. So now, community peen knows Dr. Fiance. Now, of course, something's going to happen in the future down the line where Whitney's going to get found out. And even though we kind of know that's going to happen, I'm still curious to see how it plays out. So, you know, Jason is talking about his bitterness, and Anderson's like, you know what? You sound mad triggered. You need to, like, work that shit out. That's not why I'm here. And Ola, I guess, is like, because he's all in love, he's got like this romanticism about him. He's like, what's up with you and Erica? You know, Anderson's like, they call me Satan. And Ola's like, well, y'all can work that out, right? Just talk to her, like, work it out. So you know how people, when people are in love and they think everybody else needs to be in love, and how love is this easy thing? Ola's in that place. And I'd like to be in that place too. So then we see the opening teaser. It's Erica walking in the rain. There's a slow motion shot. We see the Run the World logo, and it's on like a marquee type of, I don't know what those things are called, but I like how every episode is a different thing. So Renee calls Erica and she starts singing happy birthday. And it's like, oh, it's Erica's birthday. I wonder what sign she is. Are we going to find that out? That would be interesting. And she's 32. So now, I thought they were a little bit older, but they're in their young 30s. So turns out that she published the book when she was 29, and that's kind of a big deal. And she might have made some like 30 under 30 lists and been like a little bit of a literary darling. But because the book flopped, she's now on the other side of that, and she's feeling very meh about her accomplishments in her life. And Renee's like, girl, you know, just let that shit go. It's a new year for you. Time to try new things. Renee's all hype. She's excited. She's very positive. We're going to have karaoke party tonight. It's going to be so much fun, you know. And then she's like, I got to go, because it turns out that Renee is at work. She's got a really cute outfit on. It doesn't feel like work appropriate because midwife is showing. And I'm like, is that my inner respectability jumping out? I don't know. I need to handle that. But turns out that Renee works in like branding or advertising or something like that. And she's talking to this white woman that she works with named Abby, who I guess is her superior. And she's fishing for a promotion. And Abby's like, I got you. So that'll be curious. Like work stuff. I always like black women work stuff in TV shows. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. And then we move on to Abby's like, are you sure you're ready for all this? Because you're going through a divorce. And Renee's like, I'm fine. And then we go to Whitney and Ola. They're talking about the wedding. And it sounds like Ola is ready to have kids right away. He wants to have 4 kids. And Whitney's like, not about that life. Like, you need to calm down. And they have like a really cute romantic moment where they work it out. They brush past it. And they don't really have a discussion about it. Not good. And which is why you should go to couple counseling before you get married and like work out like what your needs and goals and expectations are. Because Whitney's like, later on she says, I'm not having kids right away. And Ola's like, has his ear to her belly and thinks that he's hearing kitty sounds. No, but they start kissing, and what I thought was interesting is like we didn't really get a sex scene between them. So even though it's like a really sexy show, we're seeing a lot of different variations of like sexy and cute type stuff, depending on the girl it is. So I find that interesting. So then we are with Erica and Brian. Erica's at work. It's like a presser for a film. She sees Brian there, the same guy that she almost had sex with, but he was too drunk. And I don't know, there's a little spark between them now. And he's had a crush on her for 8 years, apparently. Knows it's her birthday, says happy birthday, spends the whole time there with her. She's gonna go last because she's a media, internet reporter. He's going first because he works for Access Hollywood. So Brian has come up and Erica has been humbled. And now they're kind of like on equal footing in a way because of that up and down. And he's still into her apparently, and she might be into him. So maybe Anderson's got some competition. I hope so. So then we see Sandy talking to someone. Sandy's still my favorite. Professor Matthew walks by and doesn't say anything to her, and she's like, hello, like, why aren't you speaking to me? And it's because their relationship is supposed to be undercover because he's her graduate advisor. A relationship between graduate advisor and a student is a no-no. So it turns out that Matthew is like, let's just disclose, and Sandy's like, I don't want to. She's worried that people will think that she's received some favoritism in terms of her like academic career. Now, this is the type of shit that women have to deal with, possibly Black women especially. I don't know anything about that life, but either way, she doesn't want to disclose just yet. But something that Matthew says, which I thought was really important, is that she's a Fulbright scholar. Hello. That means that she's really, really smart. And she's one of these like theory chicks out here doing big things, you know. And she's working on some type of project about Black boys in schools. Only a little bit is said about that. I'd like to hear more about that. So they talk about the karaoke party, and she's like, yeah, you're gonna be my date for that. And so she's like taking her time, taking baby steps with this like making their relationship public thing. But she doesn't want to tell the student just yet. The teacher and the staff and the school just yet. She doesn't want to tell everybody. And Matthew's like, I love you. We're in a committed relationship. It's fine. Something like this could make me lose tenure. Why don't we just tell it like it is? So in episode 1, Sandy says that she's in this relationship, an undefined relationship with her graduate advisor. In episode 3, Matthew's like, I love you, we're in love, we're in a committed relationship. So something has changed. And I'm like, I wish we could see these, you know, these deep moments between these couples. But like I said, I guess they're keeping it light. So then, yeah, I talked about her being a Fulbright scholar. That really jumped out to me. And the fact that Matthew's willing to risk it all. Now, it's the big freeze. That's the name of the film that Eric and Brian are at the presser for. And it's finally Erica's turn. She's been waiting all day to talk to the star of this film, this actress who looked really familiar to me. And Erica's like, not really feeling the film. It's a romantic comedy about a woman who's like acquires sperm in some type of sneaky slapstick type of way to save so that she can get pregnant. And Erica wasn't really feeling the story, but she was pretending, and she was doing like the nice, kind of like a nice like press reporter thing, smiling with her eyes. And I really loved your film. But don't you think whenever you follow statement with a but, you are actually negating everything that you've said before the but? Y'all know that, right? So, you know, no buts. I really loved your film, period. She's like, but. So Erica asked her these questions about like, don't you think that it's like kind of like ageism and convincing like Black women, kind of like negativity around like being frantic and hysterical around getting older and not having kids and et cetera, et cetera. And the actress is being nice nasty. She's like, how old are you? So, you know, she's like, listen, you're 32, you are old, you don't have that much time left. So it's one of these things that happens. I don't know if men or, you know, non-women, other, like, let me not say men. I mean, I don't know if other genders go through this, but I know that there's like a lot of ageism when it comes to women, and how once you reach a certain age as a woman, your value goes down. You know, and in a show like Handmaid's Tale, for instance, your value as a woman is judged by whether or not you can have children. And there's this whole thing about geriatric pregnancies and how that's kind of offensive to women who are over 40 who are pregnant. They don't like the term. So, anywho. So Erica's kind of stuck in this place, and all the girls were at the pool. They're at a fancy pool, and I guess it's like a cute little birthday outing. We don't really get to find out, but if there's like an indoor fancy pool in Harlem, please leave that information in the comments, because I'd like to go there. And their swimsuits are cute. I think I liked Whitney's a lot, and I also liked Erica's swimsuit a lot. Yeah, they all looked great, but they were the only black people in the space and the only women in the space, I think. And they're having this deep conversation about like sperm and pregnancy. And that's when we find out that Whitney's wedding jitters was a topic of conversation, and that the girls have convinced her that that's all it is. It's just jitters. You know, and you do want to get married. You've been with him forever. Y'all were destined. Y'all are soulmates. Y'all are in love. This wedding is happening, right? And Whitney's like, yeah, right. So I would have liked to see that conversation as well. Just because I think these intimate moments between the girls are part of what makes the show so valuable. So that would have been nice to see. But I like this moment right here by the pool, because we get to see that Sandy is unworried and unbothered because she feels like she has until she's 40 to have kids. Renee doesn't want kids. Whitney wants kids, but not now. And Erica's just feeling old. But girl, you're only 32, and the only reason you feel old is just because it's your birthday and you saw that horrible movie. So we move on to the karaoke party. And it's just Erica there. Erica with Erica. But we call her Barb. Her character's name is Barb. Erica and Barb from work are the only people at the party. And it's like that moment when you realize that, you know, where are all your friends? It's your birthday. And it's that moment at a party where you tell your friends, oh, the party starts at 8, and it's like 8:39 and they haven't arrived, and you're like, holy shit, am I just here with my boss? Are they coming? What's going on? Erica Alexander is hilarious. She chooses a song to do, ooh la la la, which is one of the hardest songs to sing. She sings it off key, and it's hilarious and super cute. While she's singing, Renee finally shows up. She's like, oh my God, finally someone that I actually like care about and like is here. That's what, she didn't say that, but was the vibe. And Barbara's like annoyed because they're interrupting her song. And then, you know, more people start to show up. Ola and Whitney show up as Nelly and Kelly to do their song. And Matthew and Sandy show up to do their song. And, you know, everybody's having a good time, drinking, and it's really cute. I love karaoke. I love karaoke parties. If I had a bigger place, I would have a karaoke room. So then Community Peen shows up. Chris. Dun, dun, dun. And that's the Coinky Dick, right? From the title. And Whitney's like, holy shit. So this was a really funny scene. Whitney pulls Erica out and she's like, I fucked that guy. And Erica's like, what guy? And she's like, the Community Peen guy. And Erica's like, whoa. And Whitney's like, stop making that face. And Erica says, I don't know what look I'm making. I don't know what my face is doing. That was hilarious. Oh my God. And she delivered that line so perfectly, because it's like, yeah, girl, like, you mean to tell me you're about to get married and you fucked that random dude that I told you not to fuck? Okay, cute. So anywho, they go back in and Community Peen is like, hey, what's up? And she's like, oh, hi. Girl, you're trifling. He's like, I know you're not going to act like you don't remember me. And she's like, yeah, Chris, right? And he's like, and she's like, yeah, forget that happened. It wasn't supposed to happen. That didn't happen. And Ola's on the stage singing one of my favorite songs by one of my favorite artists, Andre fucking Fine Ass 3000. I hope that you're the one. If not, you are the prototype. So he's singing to his fiance, Whitney, and Chris is like, oh, I get it. So he leaves. And Whitney's up there like kissing on him. And, you know, Renee's not bothered because she brought him thinking that, you know, she just needs to have sex. She doesn't want to have sex with Jason. She doesn't want to increase her body count. Whatever. So then Anderson shows up and people are like, oh, okay, you're here. Like Matthew and Sandy are like, And turns out Ola invited him, which Whitney's not happy about. And Erica is singing another one of my favorite songs, You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette. You ought to know, I want you to know. Is she but Yeah, so I love that song. And Anderson's standing there looking at her, and maybe she's kind of drunk. She finishes singing the song. She says, I'm hungry. Her and Anderson leave to go get food at this really cute, fancy little restaurant. It looks like some really delicious type of truffle mac and cheese. Probably had little bits of crab in it or something. It looked good. And she was inhaling it. And then we find out that Anderson left right after her book situation kind of flopped. He got a job offer in South Africa to work, and he ended up staying there for 2 years. She felt abandoned. He felt like, what's the point of me like trying to chase you down? You weren't returning my calls when I was reaching out to you. So he's been gone for 2 years. And yeah, I'm not feeling him. Sorry. Like, he sounds like he's making excuses to me, because how are you going to be somewhere for 2 years? Like, that's a long ass time. Like, in between those 2 years, you couldn't have flown back to New York for a quick week or a quick 4-day weekend to be like, hey, I've been trying to reach you. Are you okay? I don't know. I feel like he could have pursued her a little harder, but I guess that's what he's trying to do now. At least that's what he says. And looks like she might be open to it. So there's a cupcake that comes out. It's got a little candle on it. And he says, make a wish. And she blows the candle. And that's where the credits roll. So now we know a little bit of the backstory as far as why everybody thinks Anderson is Satan. Because he left during a really hard time. And not only did he leave, but he was gone for a long time. Right? He left during a hard time, and he was gone for a long time. So that's one of those things. Like, when you love someone, you kind of want them to be there for you when you're going through something rough. And that doesn't mean to say that he shouldn't have gone on that trip, because it sounds like it was a really good job opportunity. But 2 years is a long ass time, and it's hard to like build back that trust. But obviously she's open to it, or she wouldn't have went to go get food with him, right, on her birthday. Anywho, that's that. That's the end of this video. Please remember to like and subscribe, leave a comment, or join my Patreon if you want to support me further. Thank you so much. Have a good day, y'all. Bye.